1957 was a terrifying time to live in Los Angeles, California. It was the middle of the Cold War, and tensions between the US and the Soviet Union were sky high. This predicament brings us 1 hour outside of Los Angeles, situated high in the Angeles Mountains. Here lies 2 massive tunnels and a highway, completely abandoned. To see these tunnels, you will have to hike in. The first tunnel you will come to is just under 2 miles from the parking lot. When you're walking in, you're going to see some trails breaking off to your left. If you want to climb up, you can go see the old water tanks that likely date back to when the tunnel was made. You can also see what appears to be the old road. You see, this highway was set to replace old mining roads that you can see up above. This first tunnel is just over 1,000 feet long. You'll find portions of the ceiling finished in old weathered steel and others that appear to just be solid rock covered in a concrete slurry mix, giving it almost a cave-like feeling. These tunnels were not bomb shelters, but they do relate to nuclear destruction. You see, Los Angeles was the 4th biggest city in the United States at the time, and also the closest one to the Soviet Union, making it a prime target for a missile strike if the Cold War were to become hot. In the 1950s, none of the interstates you would drive on today to escape LA had been built. A citywide evacuation would likely result in instant gridlock and mass chaos. The 5 to San Diego and San Francisco, the 10 to Phoenix, and the 15 to Las Vegas would all be commissioned right about this same time. This project would wind up a colossal failure. But the craziest part is that this would be the second of its kind. You see, they had already tried to build this road, but down in the bottom of the canyon, next to a small creek. A small creek that just so happens to turn into a raging, mountain-moving torrent every few years, that is. The LA County Road Department found this out the hard way when 5 miles of a road leading to the infamous Bridge to Nowhere was completely decimated by the flood. After you've seen the first tunnel, you're going to have to hike about 1 mile further to see the second. You'll be able to just barely see the top of it. Now, if you study the landscape here, I would imagine the old highway used to go straight across this gulch here, but has probably been ripped away by massive flooding. As you hike from the first tunnel to the second, you're going to want to look out to your right. Down in that canyon there is where the first attempt at making this road is. If you hike the Bridge to Nowhere, you can see many sections of asphalt still in place. The path is going to cut through some narrow, man-made canyons where they had to cut straight through the rock. Looks like they could have filmed an old Western standoff here. And as you pass these, about a quarter mile before you get to the tunnel, you're going to see a big water tank off to your left. While I'm usually not a big fan of graffiti, I thought this tank looked quite beautiful. The second tunnel is about 600 feet long and appears to have never been totally completed, even though it's marked 1964. As we fly around the outside, again you can see the remnants of the old road snaking along the cliffside. As you walk through the tunnel, you can see exposed rebar along many parts of it. I would imagine that's because of the screeching halt this tunnel would come to. This would happen for 2 reasons. The first is a speculation, but the second we know for a fact. Reason 1, the speculation. This project was extremely complicated, being high in the mountains, and was probably not keeping pace with the other major interstate projects. It probably didn't help that it was being completed exclusively by prison labor, while the other projects had the best engineers and construction workers around. Reason 2, which we do know for a fact. The Sierra Club did not like this project. They wanted the mountains preserved, and they were very against a major highway being ripped across them. Because of this, the work stopped. Walking out of the back side of the tunnels, you can keep walking for about a mile, but the road ends. There's nothing else to see except the beautiful mountains. Thanks for watching this video, and if you like this one, I'll bet you'll like the one popping up on your screen right about now.